So now we know why we want a sustainability strategy. I'm going to move on to engagement, which is the process of collating views from your stakeholders to understand which themes are most important to them. Because typically a sustainability strategy is led by an individual or one or two individuals within an organization. And it's really important to make sure that the ideas that they come up with are able to contribute towards the wider goals of the business and are themes that everybody will be comfortable working towards. And that's where this engagement process comes in. Before you begin engaging your stakeholders, though, I always recommend taking a bit of time to prepare. So that's understanding the organizational priorities, whether that's reading strategy documents, whether it's your own experience from having worked in the organization, whether your parent company, so a lot of the organizations that we work with will be coming up with a sustainability strategy for their business, but they'll have a parent organization. Maybe it's a private equity fund, maybe it's an overarching corporate parent that will have already set out their organizational priorities, and it's important to understand what those are so you can ensure alignment with them. Similarly, looking at regulation, looking at what your business actually needs to do, whether that's reporting on carbon, whether that's reporting on whether the materials you're buying, if they've been involved in deforestation, which is what you need to do for EUDR. And then similarly to what we said about looking at what your competitors are doing, looking at what those industry best practices are there voluntary standards that your industry is signing up to? And the reason that I think it's always worth taking a bit of time to research these topics and to prepare is that you want to go into your conversations with stakeholders able to really paint a picture of where your organization is and what commitments it's already made, so that you can be respectful of their time and have a really valuable discussion. On the same vein of making the most of your stakeholders' time, I always recommend spending just 15-20 minutes writing down the names and the job titles of all the people within your organization and around your organization that will be pivotal to making change. So is your organization's culture quite top down? Is it that you need a senior leader to be speaking in a town hall about sustainability to really put it on everybody's radar? Or is it an organization where people are looking towards individual sustainability champions? Are there people that have nothing on the surface to do with sustainability, but have been at the organization for a really long time, or they know everybody? They're just the people that get things done. So these people are often known as connectors and bridge builders. So in a lot of organizations, it might be the person that's doing the admin. They know everybody because they're supporting, their admin function is supporting multiple different functions. And if you can get them on board with sustainability, they'll be able to persuade others to get on board with sustainability and make change. Similarly, a lot of time with particularly things like scope 3, you need to understand your supply chain. So which are your key suppliers? And also, who are your key customers? A lot of the businesses that work with innovative energy consultants are working with us because their customers have asked them, what are you doing for sustainability? And they want to ensure that they're able to keep selling to those customers. In a lot of ways, having a clear sustainability strategy is really essential these days for your commercial strategy. And so by taking 15-20 minutes to write down who these key stakeholders are, your engagement process will be a lot more efficient. And you can start getting time in people's calendars, setting up workshops, making sure you've got all the right people contributing to your organization's sustainability strategy. Once you know who it is that you want to engage, there's 3 really common methods of engaging. The first is semi-structured interviews. So that's creating a list of questions that you want to ask all of the senior leaders in your organization. It could be things like, how does sustainability feature in your day-to-day? What areas do you see sustainability as supporting? So that could be things like operational optimization. So cutting emissions by improving sustainability can also cut costs in a lot of cases because you're reducing your energy consumption. And having all of these questions marked down on a bit of paper, spending time with all of the stakeholders and collating their answers, that's a really good way to get very detailed insights from specific people. But that's quite time consuming, which is why a lot of the time in addition to the semi-structured interviews with your key stakeholders, we recommend sending out surveys. And what you've got to do with a survey is work out what it is you're trying to uncover from it. And most people in large organizations are busy, they get thousands of emails every day. And so you want to keep the survey short and sweet. And in addition to the answers to the actual questions, you can learn a lot just by looking at how many people answer the survey. And this is why it's really helpful to work with the comms department to understand what is typical engagement. So many large organizations will send out regular employee surveys asking about things like employee satisfaction. And if that organization typically gets response rates in the sort of 80-90%, and for sustainability, you're getting a response rate in sort of the low 20s, that tells you that it's a topic that people are less engaged with just in and of itself. And then finally, workshops are a great way to get people to engage. And workshops, it's about sparking conversations. It's about getting people to have discussions with each other as well as with you. And that will help you uncover ways to collaborate and what are priorities for multiple functions. Because when you have these semi-structured interviews, you might find out that procurement's biggest sustainability concern is contract management. But then when you talk to the ops guys, their primary concern might be bringing down energy costs. And when you talk to HR, it might be about staff retention and engagement. And so bringing all these different people in the rooms together, it will help you understand what are the underlying themes that could form your pillars that contribute towards each of the different priorities within the organization. And so I do recommend that you use all three of these methods, but that you sequence it. So you do your semi-structured interviews and your surveys first, and you use the information from that to run workshops that are really focused on identifying the priorities that are held in common. By the end of your engagement process, you should have a really clear picture of your organization's capabilities and commitment. So you might be in an organization where everybody is really, really genuinely committed to sustainability. They know it's the right thing to do. They're highly intrinsically motivated, but they haven't got a clue where to start. And that's a very different sustainability strategy to an organization where people feel that they have the capabilities, but it's just not a priority. And so understanding that is really vital step before you get into the creation of the strategy. Secondly, you'll understand what are the opportunities for sustainability to support those organizational strategic priorities, whether it's new customer acquisition, whether it's retaining existing customers, whether it's improving relations with the supply chain or improving operational efficiency. And it should also help you find the barriers. What are the reasons that people haven't done this already?